It's an interesting challenge right now that we're having, frankly, is like a lot of the younger developers want to do everything in GitHub, and some of the older folks in product want to still use Jira. And so I think looking at those tools that we have available and evolving those tools and seeing what actually makes the most sense, and continuing to evaluate some of the tools that are out there and the new tools that are coming. I know a number of people that use Trello. I personally have not dug into Trello because I live and breathe in Jira. And I don't have a choice. It's just the companies I've been at for the last bunch of years, and even currently at Frankly, we live and breathe in Jira and Confluence and those things. So I think recognizing that there's other ways to do things, and there are tools. And so maybe not every issue needs to be in Jira. Maybe issues can be in GitHub in certain instances, and finding a balance between kind of how some of the younger developers are coming in, or the younger team that have learned different tools and have different tools at their disposal, and finding that balance between that. And those processes, I think, help change that. I also think that there's Agile with this a little a, and I'm stealing it from somebody from some meeting that I had years ago, but essentially everything's Agile-ish. So it's not necessarily exactly what works for one team isn't going to work for another team, is essentially what I'm trying to say, I think. And you got to find what works and pick the pieces of what works. And I think that that's becoming more acceptable. Whereas at one point it was like, here's Agile or here's Scrum, and you have to have run it exactly like this. You hear a lot more of that. And now there's a kind of a evolution where it's really a mix and a hybrid of a number of different things. And of course there's Kanban too. And so I have a single team that I work with from a development standpoint, and we look at them as a single team, and I run one Jira board off of it. But part of my team, which is offshore, I actually, even though it's run by a 2-week sprint, I almost run them more Kanban, even within the sprint. And then the bigger pieces that are being done by the onshore team are run more in a traditional Agile sprint fashion, where we kind of upfront say, these are the tickets that are going to be in this sprint, where this other part of the team that I have, I kind of add and remove as priorities change even throughout the sprint. But the goal of my sprint for them is that it is ultimately the bucket of work that they can pick from, so that they don't go pick up from the backlog. Because the stuff on the backlog might not either be groomed, it might not have all the requirements, or it might just not be important just yet. And so I want to keep them focused on the work that's in the to-do. So I use the sprint ultimately as a loose Kanban board for them, even though I'm running it more in a Scrum Agile fashion.